Hi there, John Wilkinson here, and as always, I do thank you for tuning in to my History Made Easier YouTube channel. In this talk, I'm going to look at the British policy of appeasement, and I'm going to take a perspective that focuses on people. I'm going to begin with some statistics coming out of World War I. Some 9 million soldiers died in World War I. 9 million. But they only represent part of the picture. For every soldier that died, more than 2 were seriously wounded. 15 million soldiers were officially categorized as seriously wounded. In addition, 7 million soldiers were permanently disabled. This is a human tragedy already, but we can widen our net. 5 million women were made widows by World War I, and few of these women would have married again, simply because with all the deaths, there were fewer men around of their generation. And in addition to the 5 million women, 9 million children were left without fathers. Now, what is the point of this? And I will push this point again and again. No prime minister or any leader of a democratic country can ignore this tragedy. They have to try and avoid repeating the tragedy. And that brings us, of course, to Chamberlain's decision to appease Hitler rather than go to war. But let me give this a different direction. Say you were 20 in 1918 in one of those trenches. Come 1938, you would probably be married and probably have a young family. Would you want another major war? I'm going to keep the maths simple here. Say you were 30 or 40 in 1918. By 1938, your family has grown up, and that means that your son or the man married to your daughter is eligible for conscription if there was another major war. So do you want that? Politicians have to think about their voters. Vote for me and I'll send your sons to war, where they'll probably die. Not a vote winner. Chamberlain has to think about this. That's my point. Remember that cartoon? I'm sure you've looked at it. We all do. It's the one where the leaders, the big 3 leaders, are leaving the Paris Peace Conference, and there's a child crying behind a pillar. That child represents the class of 1940. That's the sons of the people who already have experienced the tragedy of war. It's a powerful cartoon, I think. We all use it. Okay, something to add to that. What has changed since 1918? One thing that's changed is that the aeroplane has come of age, and a future war is going to have a lot more civilian casualties. The British military made clear that the bomber will always get through. That's what they told the politicians. And it was anticipated that in the first 6 months of war, Britain would have 600,000 civilian casualties. That's what politicians were being told. So again, we can understand why Chamberlain was working to avoid another war. Let me take a different angle now. Today, hundreds of thousands of Brits will holiday in Europe every year. Well, not right now with the pandemic raging, but before the pandemic and after the pandemic, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of Brits will holiday in Europe, including the Czech Republic. Prague is a big weekend destination. But it wasn't like that in 1938. When Chamberlain went to meet with Hitler for the first time in Berchtesgaden, he took his first ride, if that's the right word, on an aeroplane. He had never flown in a plane before, except for one short joyride that he took when he visited an exhibition somewhere. This was his first proper flight. So when he speaks to the British people in a speech broadcast on the radio, and he talks of a faraway country and a quarrel between people that we know nothing about, he was speaking the truth. The British people didn't know anything about Czechoslovakia. Not really. They didn't know Czech people. They had no idea of the world beyond these British islands. And so to go to war over an issue that people don't fully understand, on behalf of a people that the British people don't know, again, it's not a vote winner. So what I urge you to think about, and I know there are other factors, arguments for appeasement, arguments against appeasement, I know that, and I'm not coming down on one side or the other. I'm just trying to give this people focus. What Chamberlain was concerned about, and I think sincerely, he didn't want another human tragedy. He was doing everything he could to avoid that. But of course, he was also a politician. And he knew that there were not votes in war. So I hope that was useful for you. I really do. As always, I thank you for listening. And as always, I urge you to take a look at my History Made Easier website. It's there to be useful to you. So for now, thank you for listening. Cheers.